Okay, today we have my good friend Mike Hoffman, founder and CEO of PastSight. And I'm going to let you explain what that is in a second. But thank you very much for doing this today. It's been a while since we've caught up, but we were actually roommates in college. We've been friends for a while. I know you're a big Knicks fan, so I can't wait to hear your perspective on that. But I just want to, I'll let you introduce yourself. Tell me a bit about yourself and your current role.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very excited to chat. I started a company, PastSight, that does win-loss analysis. So, helps companies understand the real reasons why they're winning and losing deals by getting to the source directly and interviewing them. Started the company about 2 years ago, and it's been a wild ride so far.
That's awesome. It's really cool to watch, actually, and it's cool to see you become like a LinkedIn influencer too, to see how much that's grown over time. That's pretty cool.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's wild when you start posting. People think you're a lot smarter than you are, but it's really helped my brand a little bit. It's been a great lead gen tool for us.
That's awesome. And so I know like so the one thing I thought about too when I was thinking about like the types of questions I was going to ask. So I normally ask like what inspired you to pursue this career? I know even since we were in college when you were doing your co-ops, um, you were always more interested in startups. And I don't remember the name of the company, but I remember we used to go out to like a bar or a restaurant with you. We would eat, and then you would do your pitch for whatever the service was at the time that you were selling to the manager, and that would be like you're in every time we would go out.
Yep.
Um, so I saw your inspiration back then, but like for me to hear from you would be awesome. Like what inspired you to pursue a career not only in sales, but then also kind of from the entrepreneurial side and focusing on the startups? Like what has inspired you there?
I'm fortunate that I went to Drexel with you, where you do 3 6-month internships, and so I found it gave me a huge edge because I graduated knowing exactly what I wanted to do. And so through the three co-ops, I learned I didn't like working for big companies because I'd rather be a bigger fish in a smaller pond. I felt like interning at Goldman, as an example, like I'm not going to change Goldman Sachs. And so that didn't excite me. Also being able to be in a role where like it's not like you just have to put your time in, and like if you're there for a year then maybe you get promoted, but like sales is results oriented and I'm a competitive person, and so the what you put in you get out, and so I like that the results speak for themselves. And so I graduated knowing I really wanted to work at sales in a startup, and that's pretty much been my entire career.
That's awesome. So I, as someone who's always been like on the internal side, I always joke that I cost the company money and you make the company money on the sales side. Um, but like, what are some challenges that you face for people who wouldn't know, who have no insight into what that type of role is? Like, and you could talk about your day-to-day role as what it was like actually sales, what it's like being a CEO, founder, whatever, like what your perspective on this would be interesting.
What do you mean exactly?
So like from a day-to-day standpoint and before like I'm always interested in what a typical day looks like, right? Because you can see what job descriptions are, but really hearing from you what your actual day looks like and whatever side you want to focus on, like what it's like to run a company or what it's like to actually be in the mud day to day, focusing on getting sales and leads. But
Yeah.
what would be some typical challenges that you face and how have you overcame them?
Yeah, it's ironic because like while I'm like the founder and CEO, I feel like I'm more of like an individual contributor, or like the role I'm doing now is more similar to like some of the jobs I had right out of school, like selling. And
Yeah.
so the way I think about all of these roles is like it's a funnel. Like to close deals first, you need the leads. And so that's why I post a lot on LinkedIn, because I have a lot to share, and that leads to generating credibility. So I'm posting on LinkedIn and trying to get leads. Then when I get leads, I'm doing whatever I can to close them and get through a sales process. And so, uh, really, like a typical day is you want to spend as much of your time focusing on what's really going to move the needle versus all the other stuff that gets in the way, which AI is helping a lot automate a lot of that stuff. But um, point being, like what I think about like in each hour of the day is like, is this productive? Is this helping me with what my goal is? Which really in sales or running an early stage company is closing deals.
Love that. Speaking of sales, I don't know if you're familiar with Microsoft's AI Copilot. I love that the way that they frame that is awesome. Like the idea that I know that there was a lot of trepidation around AI in the beginning, and to hear the idea that you're still the pilot, you drive everything, and AI is there to support you as your co-pilot. I thought that was an incredible like sales not technique, but kind of the way they framed it is awesome.
Couldn't be more true. I don't think AI is gonna like completely
Yeah, sure.
get rid of sales. I think it's to your point, like it's gonna make sales professionals way better and more efficient.
And you could focus on the strategic things versus the administrate. Yeah, exactly. Totally. So what are some things that you're proud of over your career? Like what are your key accomplishments or milestones?
Yeah, I would say the thing that I'm probably the most proud of is my network, and like what I mean by that is I I get a lot of satisfaction and gratification out of helping people. And so I've probably helped over 100 people get jobs. I've stayed in touch with a lot of people. I like that you reached out to me and like I can hop on this call and help you in any way I can. And so I think it's about like what I'm proud of is I've built a lot of relationships with people that are authentic and genuine. And while that ends up serving me and has helped me a lot in my career in terms of things, it's more about like helping people has really kind of made my career. I think my network is my strongest asset.
That's awesome. So if you like switching gears a bit, but if you were to, if someone like what we were like in college looking at co-ops, if you had advice for someone who wanted to pursue a career in sales, or follow similarly in your footsteps, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say a couple things. Like one, like it's I think anybody should have an experience in sales because it's for some people and not for others. Sales is not really what you think. You people think it's like, oh, like the sleazy cold calling, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
there's so much more to it, and it can be very consultative and helpful. But I think you need to know that like in sales, you have a quota and you have a number that you need to hit. So I would just say it's a really good experience for anybody to have, but know what you're getting yourself into. But it can be really fun and really rewarding, and I love it.
Do you find one of the things that I always used to tell myself that why I don't know that I'd be good at sales? I agree with you. When I'm super passionate about something, I could talk about it forever. And people are like, oh, you should consider like sales in that space. But if I'm not passionate about something, it's hard for me to get up for that. You know what I mean? And that's where I think people get you if you're not authentic, like what you were saying earlier, I think people can see that. And that's where that perception of sales comes in. But if you believe in what you're selling and you truly think that it's a, a big value add, like you were saying, it comes through.
Exactly. You need to believe in what you're selling. For
Yeah.
me, I can get excited about a lot of different things. So I've sold a lot of different things, but I would never go somewhere where I don't believe in the product or I'm not excited about it. But I've sold SEO software, I've sold mental health software, and anything in between. And if I get excited about it, then I can do a good job selling
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome. Um, okay, almost done. So I know we used to joke that you were like the king of quotes when we were in school. So not it doesn't have to be a quote, but if the idea behind this like, video series is if I knew then what I know now, would I have done something differently? So do you have advice for your younger self? Is there something that you wish you knew then? Would you have done something differently? And what would you tell yourself, I guess?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I love quotes. And one that I heard recently that I can't stop thinking about, I don't know if it's my favorite quote, but the one that's definitely been top of mind is that the world belongs to optimists. And like, I'm like a just natural optimist. Like,
I agree.
things don't always go well. There's a lot of challenges. And I can't say I'm like always positive in every single situation. I'm human, but like, I believe if you truly think you're going to be successful, and you look at each challenge as an opportunity, and things that other people would say are impossible or not, like you're just gonna be more successful. So like I think like don't be realistic, like have high dreams and that kind of stuff and believe in it. So that quote I heard recently and that resonated. But
I
the
love
advice
that.
I would give early on is like I remember like when we were in college, everybody's competitive about like what first job you're getting out of college, and like looking back now, it is so irrelevant what first job you have out of college, And so I think like don't be competitive with others, but really help other people. And that will serve you so much longer in the long run. Even in sales where it's like a numbers driven thing. I remember like I didn't get into account disputes or things like that. I always like helped other people. I learned at first I was competitive and then I learned pretty quickly that's not going to serve me as well. And so I think that is the number one thing is like don't be competitive with others and like build relationships and stay in touch with people, and then get great mentors. I think the most important thing about your career is like the people you're surrounding with. Ideally, your immediate manager or boss is incredible, but sometimes if they're not, find other people in the organization that you can really learn from, and like that's gonna pay so many dividends down the road.
I totally agree. I love that. All right, so what's next for you? What's next for you? What's next for the company? Do you have any immediate goals? Like what would you say?
Yeah, it's in this AI transition, it's we're working on like moving into tech and how do we automate more and how do we deliver more and better value to our customers. I'm a first-time founder. I've made so many mistakes. I'm learning every day. It's hard, but it's just keeping one foot in front of the other and continuing to grow the business to the revenue goals that we want to get
That's
to.
great. Well, I wish you continued success. It's been awesome seeing your growth and your success on LinkedIn, and it's awesome to stay in touch. Thank you so much for doing this today. I really appreciate it. And it kills me to say this because I normally don't like the Knicks as a Sixers fan, but it's cool to see them beat up on the Celtics these past two games.
Back to back 20-point comebacks. I mean,
Yeah,
talk about
that was
numbers.
awesome.
It's insane.
Jalen Brunson is unbelievable. Mr. Clutch, it's unbelievable.
It's wild. Like it's some of these guys, like when games get intense, they some guys can't handle the pressure. It's like the game like slows down for him.
Yeah, he
It's
thrives in it. It's awesome.
yeah, it's been crazy to see.
All right, thank you so much, Hoff. I appreciate it, man.
Of course, great to see you. Talk to you soon.
You too. See you. Bye bye.